Welcome to FireFae's Witchy Whispers, a brand dedicated to the softer, more feminine side of witchcraft, spirituality, and divination. Grab yourself a cup of tea and a cozy blanket and settle in for Witchy Whispers. We're back. We're live. This time it will be with the wifey FireFae. She will tell us all about Witchy Whispers, what it is, why it is, why she has created or has wanted to create her own channel, her own thing for so long. You know, she sees everybody else have their thing. So why not her, and why not indeed? So without further ado, let's add the beautiful FireFae. Hey, babes. Honey, we're on.
I know. I said, hey.
Oh, well, I didn't hear you, but hey, good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I wouldn't dare not to. So, to just kick it right off, what is Witchy Whispers, and why did you start Witchy Whispers?
Witchy Whispers was something that I was discussing with Brenda over at Horrifying History of things that I could do to include more feminine energy in my life. And she came up with, well, we came up with, but she had the starting point of why not gear it towards women. And we had done this once before, but it didn't really take off. And so it kind of left me a little discouraged and not sure how to include ladies and all of that. So we came up with an idea of, doing things that I enjoy, like where I can talk about, moon magic, um, the lighter things of things, tarot, oracle, crystals, energy work, Reiki, and stuff like that, just to kind of open up for ladies to have a place that they can talk about things without the masculine energy overlapping or overwhelming the feminine side, which is delicate. And I also wanted to do something where I included Chloe Hughes, one of my really, really good friends on Twitter, who is, you know, been such an inspiration to me. She is deaf and she is taking over the paranormal community one sign at a time. She's my baby witch, and I decided that I wanted to kind of do something for people who are also beginning in their practices with paganism or Wiccan, or as I like calling myself, an old time witch slash fae. So I just kind of wanted to include everybody.
So it's basically just you creating a magical, sacred place, sacred space for the.
It was more of like a safe space, like somewhere where the ladies could talk about the things that they don't want to necessarily talk about with the masculine side. Or, I do have friends that are witches that are males who are overwhelmed by the masculine side of heathenry. So it was kind of just something soft and delicate rather than the masculine, heavy craziness that paganism has started to turn into.
Well, I mean, paganism in of itself isn't necessarily masculine. It's both masculine and feminine, but
It
I
is, but it was just more heavy, and I just wanted something light and airy and fun and just safe.
okay. So that's pretty much how Witchy Whispers came to be, because you feel like there isn't any space at all for the women, or just too little
Well, not
space.
just the women. I'm talking about like people who work with the feminine energies and, that kind of thing where we can come together and just dive into the feminine energies with the goddesses because people talk about the gods all the time, like Odin, Osiris, or Loki, or Thor. I wanted to kind of include Freya. I wanted to include the Morgan. I wanted to include Bridged. I wanted to include, you know, things of that nature. And that's where it was born.
So since starting Witchy Whispers, have you noticed any difference? Have you noticed more ladies, more of the the female side of things making itself known, making herself known, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I've noticed Freya's definitely amped up and made herself known more. And it's kind of funny, the more that I like research and get to know her better, she reminds me so much of um, a lot of the other goddesses and how she reminds me so much of myself and the fact that, she is matronly, but at the same time, she doesn't take no crap from anybody and she
Hmm.
protects her own, which is basically me embodiment, where, it's like I'm this sweet little innocent fae, but you cross me wrong or hurt my family or hurt my loved ones, and I become a fiery redhead in a sense.
uh, yeah, I have I have definitely noticed that. That is very true. um so just tell us more about Witchy Whispers. Like, what is your goal with
I
it,
just
other
want to
than
take, I want to kind of just, you know, take it lightly and, do little things here and there. And that's why on Twitter I did a poll to see if, the ladies of Twitter wanted to do, you know, um, where I write the articles or I have guest spots where, people write up something and I give them the credit and stuff like that. And it seems like a lot of people wanted it to go in the way of me sharing other people's knowledge because not every pagan is cookie cutter. We're all different. And so that's where it's like I wanted to include everybody.
Uh, yeah, we're very much different indeed. I mean, by the time of recording this, I just finished up a show with Alex um, about ancient Prussia and Baltic paganism, so more the Eastern European paganism. And although there are many similarities, of course, to more Germanic Norse paganism, it is still very different indeed. And like, not even two of let's say two Germanics are the same. I mean, If you look at, myself and Josh, Thane Josh, for example, both Germanic pagans, but I mean, to say that we practice our faith in the same way, no, absolutely not. So I totally get why you would do the same thing for the ladies.
Well, and men who want to, you know, because I don't want to just be exclusive. I want it to be inclusive and include people who, necessarily want to try to dive into the feminine side rather than the masculine side. Because even with you, it's like I wanted to show that, feminine energy isn't to be scared of. It's where life is created and born, and it comes from within. And that's where it's like I wanted to do something where it was softer, because like even with you and I practicing together, you've noticed that our practices are vastly different.
Yeah, yeah, very much. I'm definitely more of a man of Odin, man of Thor, more the strong masculine, indeed, the warrior that has to keep his family safe and has to fight for everything that he wants, for everything that he does. Um, but that's also just a lot of life experience. I have had to
Mhm.
fight for everything that I have. Um, Still am. So yeah, the fact that I would be pulled more towards the male warrior gods, um, it makes a lot of sense. But I have been getting a lot of messages that I should get in touch more with my feminine side. Um,
Your card reading from last night definitely showed that for sure.
oh yeah, oh yeah, that's yeah. I mean, I've been told so many times by now by so many different cards and energies and
Hmm.
whatever the case. Um, so speaking of cards and card readings and your practices, what do you practice? How do you intend to practice the feminine, the female, the softer side more? Is it just card readings, sitting around with, I don't know, a cup of tea and some
Drinking
biscuits?
and talking about the boys all day? No, no, definitely not. It's more of just like
Well, you
getting
do
in
that.
touch
You do
with,
that in daily life already. So.
yeah, that's true, but that's not where I wanted to go with it. I wanted to do something where, you know, even in my own practice, I wanted to get to know the feminine side better. And
Hmm.
that's where Freya has made herself very much known in everything that I've been doing lately.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like, I used to, not do as much moon practice as before. And now I have two wonderful moon decks, and the messages that come through those decks are absolutely beautiful. And it's like, I want to start working with the moon more because it's a beautiful energy. It's very soft. Even though there are energies where it's like, hey, pay attention, it's
Hmm.
still very soft. And I've noticed since I've been doing this stuff, my familiar is more involved in my practices now. It's like she's been like, hey, this is what you've needed to do all along.
Yeah, because I mean, with us being together, of course, we we know everything about each other, pretty much. Um,
The good, the
but
bad, the ugly, the good,
yeah,
the better. We know a lot.
so let's um, let's just say for the men, because I mean the majority of the people that watch my videos, that watch the podcast, are men, of course.
Mhm.
Um, and this is kind of for me as well. Then, in a way, how do you propose that we get in touch more with our feminine sides? Like, do we just put on a dress and makeup, or
I'm not knocking anyone that does because I have friends that are amazing drag queens. You know, if they can do it, we all can do it, Just like the wise words of my amazing brother-in-law.
of Miss Mountain
But
Dew? Yeah,
but
you had to.
it's more than, yeah, I had to include him in this one. Um it's more than that, and that's where it's like, you know, meditate, see who comes to you, because like the thing is, like, for the longest of time I resonated with Anubis and Hades for like the longest of time. Those
Yeah.
were my two gods, if you will, that I was close to. And that's where it's like, you know, now that Hades isn't seen as the bad guy that, kidnapped Persephone and all this stuff, now it's like starting to come into light that he saved her from certain things and like all of that. And people are starting to see who he really is. And he's not this abusive jerk, but, he's actually just, he is in touch with his feminine side. And that's where it's like now recently, it's like I've become close to Freya and I've gotten close to Bridged and, those kind of things. And I've noticed that more feminine energies are starting to come into my life through meditation, through my yoga practices, through
Hmm.
all kinds of things. They're making themselves more known. And that's where it's like, even in my Native American stuff, the feminine energies are starting to awaken and they're starting to come through. And I was doing a walking meditation just yesterday while you were, doing your birthday stuff with your family and the
Hmm.
kids. And I noticed that, dryads are starting to wake up and starting to make their presence known. And the Fae are more active than normal. And that's where it's like a lot of people think that feminine energies are scary. Yeah, at certain times of the month we are scary, but there is nothing to be scared of.
Wait, why would feminine energies be scary? I mean, I can understand, being a big burly man, thinking yourself so tough,
Mhm.
getting in touch with the softer sides. I mean, still, very often this in this society in these days, you would be called out for for being gay, for being a sissy, or you
And
know
that's
uh,
not the case at all, and that's the thing too, where it's okay to be dual. And that's like the thing is where we tell everybody who listens, you're the yin to my yang, and I'm the yin, or I'm the yin to your yang. And that's where it's like, it's okay to include both into your life. There's nothing scary about it. You just have to go about it the right way.
so you were talking about the dryads and the fae and all just now.
Mhm.
Are they more feminine energies, like
No,
because I mean,
no.
we see the fae, very often, at least in the more popular media, of course, displayed as these beautiful beings, very often female, or at least feminine looking, or like what is feminine energy besides the goddesses? How do
There
you?
is Fae, of course, but there's also dryads. There's a ton of little things like, and believe it or not, little dwarves, little gnomes, like that kind of thing. People think, oh, they're all masculine. Those are masculine. No, it's not always the case.
But
How else is, I mean, you have to have balance. You have to have feminine, you also have to have masculine. Because if you don't have feminine, you don't have masculine. And if you don't have masculine, you don't have feminine. That's my opinion anyway.
no, it's true. It's it's very much true. For one to exist, you got to have the other as well. Um, despite what the medical societies today want you to believe.
Hmm.
Um, that's
We're not
there's
getting into that one.
no, but there is still such a thing as just biological facts.
There is,
Um,
but not necessarily the way you feel.
no, because you mentioned two spirits. Like that is a thing in
That's a
Native.
Native American thing.
Yeah, two
Um,
spirited. What
you can
like?
look it up and pull it up if you want. In Native American culture, there is a thing called two spirit, and there's also, also lesbian and gay and, you know, straight. I mean, there's like six different sexualities within the Native American culture. And that's where it's like, you could be two spirit masculine, two spirit feminine leading. And, in that culture, there was nothing necessarily wrong with, you dressing up more feminine as a male or more masculine as a female. There was nothing wrong with that back in those times.
Hmm.
Everyone loved you for who you were. And if you led that life where you were leaning towards feminine and you were male, that's okay. And that's where, you know, I feel like you just need to find out who you are. And that's why I kind of wanted to do Witchy Whispers is so, everyone's accepted and loved for who they are, no matter what someone else says about it.
Like that sounds more like a healthy form of accepting it, not like
Hmm.
you feel like you're something else or both. So just let's push you on a bunch of hormones and start cutting off body parts.
No, that's not how it was back in those days. We didn't have that kind of stuff back in those days, and that's where, you know, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And that's where it's like, you know, I'm very much tomboy, as you know.
Hmm.
I'm very much tomboy. I only do my makeup when I have to go to work. But that's where it's like, I've had to learn to accept myself, and it took you a while to understand that this is the way I grew up, that, I don't have to be this feminine presenting person to be loved by someone. And that's where it's like, you know, it just happens.
No, I think yeah, no, that's true, and I think it's made into too big of an issue these days. There's too much a push for
It's because the
how
Gen
you've.
Zs want to push it. The Gen Zs want to push it. And that's where it's like, if you talk to the people who are from the community back in the days of when I was in high school, because I am older than you, back in those days, we didn't have the X, Y, and Z added on to the community because in our minds, it was like it accepted everybody. But now it's an alphabet and it's so hard, even for me, because it's like, I am who I am. I don't have to push that on people. Like with me being pan, but being Demi, you it took you a while to accept, but in the end, you still accepted it.
Well, it took me
And
a while to understand, because like really the only view I have of it is what is being pushed by the the more popular media and the let's say governments financed institutes that, like, however you feel you should be presenting on the outside. So if as a as a boy of, let's say our youngest age, Floyd is, oh god, he's 6, no, 5,
and then
turning,
our oldest
he's
slug
5
dude is
turning 6.
14.
Yeah.
And then with our oldest slug dude who's turning 15 this next year,
And I mean, like, yeah, of
it's
course,
different.
with with Floyd, our our youngest, um he's growing up with with his big sister.
Mm.
So yeah, of course, he is, especially when he was, a little younger, he would have just like grabbed one of his sister's pink hats and put it on because I don't know, he felt like it. But like nowadays, I feel that there is
It's
such a.
harder. It's a disdain almost. And that's where, you know, being, having younger siblings, it was hard because, like I liked a lot of the things that boys did.
Mhm,
And with my younger siblings, they were, they followed suit of what the older sister was doing.
of
And
course.
that's where it's like hard nowadays, where it's like you talk about those things and people are like, well, then aren't you this? And it's like, no, I don't need a pronoun. I don't need this and that as a defining thing. And what was interesting was during Pride last year,
Mhm.
I was talking about being a tomboy. And all of a sudden, one of my friends posted on my Facebook saying, well, then you must have this identification. And it's like, since when is being a tomboy a sexual identification? And so that's
It's
like what threw me off. And, you
it's
know,
not, or it shouldn't be, at least. And this is a good question, Sunsi. Thank you very much. In your opinion, of course, love. But what is the divine feminine? Because I feel with it being so incredibly much politicized, it is keeping people from discovering it, from truly knowing it. So,
well, in my practice, it's the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So you look at the different goddesses that have that. Like the Morgan has, the three faces. Which is what other goddess did we find in our stuff that we had found that it was the same? Wasn't it
oh god,
Lilith?
yeah, Lilith or Lilitu. Um, let's see, even Bridget is a
Bridget, yeah.
is a triple goddess. You have the Norns, of course, the Weavers of Fate, who are considered a triple deity.
Mhm.
It seems to be a, like,
It's a thing
especially,
in almost all of the pantheons, it feels like.
yeah,
And
but
that's where it's like,
mostly with the feminine, though. Like they seem to really have the triple goddess thing going on. You don't see it as much
the
with
horn god
the.
has it. The horn god has it. Because remember, he is a young boy, then he goes into being the god, and then he turns into the older man, and then he passes away, and then he's reborn in spring. It's the same concept.
Yeah, although it seems to be very much a feminine thing, it is, of course, like kind of the same journey for, us men, indeed, as you just mentioned with the horned god. Like we start out as this little boy who is like kind of trying to figure out himself, kind of trying to figure out what he likes, and just going through life. pretty
And
careless,
that's
and
where
then
it kind of,
all of a sudden you're a teenager and you start to feel things that you haven't felt before, and things get very confusing, and then all of a sudden you're, well, an adult, or as you know, whatever like a true adult may be.
mhm.
I mean, over the years I've come to realize that no actual adult knows what they're doing. We're all just winging it, and see what happens, hoping that the good
Well,
things stick.
and that's where it's like, I am who I am. And that's where it's like, I wanted to again do that poll
Hmm.
to see what, my female counterparts and my, feminine sided warriors and warrioresses, or as you guys say, shield maidens, wanted me to
Uh,
do with Witchy Witcher Whispers. Sorry, I can't talk
so
today.
that's fine, baby.
But, I am who I am. And that's where it's like, you
But
know,
do you feel that, like, since it has been blown up to be this huge thing, like, with the whole pronouns thing, and oh, if you feel like that, then you must be that. Do you feel like it is keeping people from, you know discovering or finding the other energies? Because I mean, like I said, big burly man, like, fucking MMA fighters, powerlifters, bodybuilders, whatever, they
mhm.
are manly man, and that's how they portray themselves. So to do anything that is considered, female or feminine, or any of that, like, immediately creates such a stigma still, because it's such a macho culture. And now with, like I said, with the whole, oh, if you feel like that, then you also must portray like that on the outside, otherwise the feeling isn't genuine, or isn't what it's supposed to be. Like, do you feel like that's what's keeping people from it?
Not necessarily. Um, I feel like, you know, men have been raised a certain way, and I've told you this since the very beginning of us, that, men are raised to be masculine and tough. And that's where, when people
Mm-hmm.
find out that well, our oldest was, he didn't have that around him as he was growing up, a lot of people sit there and try to push it that, he's more feminine. And it's like, no. And that's where, he is who he is, and that's where if he decides to be what he wants to be as he gets older, then I've been raised to love him no matter what. And that's the thing too, where he is who he is.
But, like, that should be the standard, right? To just
It's
accept one another. Like, it doesn't matter how you feel, what you feel, how you feel like. Why is
a
it?
lot of people have a hard time, and that's why I wanted to do Witchy Whispers, is because I wanted people to be able to accept themselves and just be able to put a voice to how they feel. And that's where it's like, if one of my followers decides to write an article and they're masculine,
Hmm.
that's fine. That doesn't bother me. You know, I want anybody who feels comfortable to do what they feel comfortable with, not anything but that.
And, like, with the case of acceptance, like, do you feel like that has been pushed too far? Perhaps, like, now we're we're being forced to
No
accept
one's being
anyone and
forced any.
everyone.
No one's being forced to accept anybody. That's the thing too, where you have a choice, and most people don't realize that is that they do have a choice.
Well, I mean, you don't really have a choice if like not accepting it is a punishable offense.
To some people it is. To some people who it isn't. It just depends on who you talk to.
So, Witchy Whispers is even for the kids.
Hmm. I just want them to see that it's okay to be different.
Hmm. And how would you like? How would you do that? I mean, to have kids understand that.
Kids don't need that training. It's the adults who need the training, not kids.
Oh, that's so.
Because growing up, I
Hmm.
was always told, to love and accept everybody no matter what.
Yeah.
And growing up, I honestly thought, same-sex couples were married. And until I went out into the real world and discovered myself, then I realized it was quote unquote illegal for ages. And it's like, what?
Yeah. I mean that is a little odd, I suppose, but I think that is also very much because of um the strict religiousness, especially like Christian or Catholic, that the West has been for so long, and the several mistranslations of the Holy Bible,
Hmm.
in which it is translated to, if a man lays with a man as he lays with a woman, well, it's I believe that the original text is if a man lays with a boy as he lays with a woman. Um, and like you see that even in um, I mean, I know that it's more allegorical than that, but like in the story of Christ, like how was he betrayed? By whom was he betrayed? By the ones that he loved most, and the final betrayal was quite literally with a kiss. And like, what is not a um, a greater um, gesture of love than a kiss? But it seems that back in those days it was a lot more normal, and it was, or at least like in the more spiritual communities, if you will, it was
Hmm.
more normalized also for men that they were able to tell each other that they love each other. And now if two men
That's
tell each
why
other that they love each other, it's gay.
I just wanted, to show, you know, our kids and, our tribe's kids that, it's okay to be who you are. And if that includes that piece of it, then so be it, and
So why is it that, well, let's say that us adults have to be taught again, or like have to be taught over that love is love, and as long as it's a healthy kind of love, a genuine kind of love, that it's perfectly okay. Like, I mean, we know kids are more innocent, and it's like kind of going into the whole nature versus nurture
mhm.
thing. But like, why do you think that is? Like, why do you think we forget those
Because
things, or is it just?
because some kids are raised to hate,
But
and
why?
that's
Yeah, I know it's happening, and I know the neglect of the younger generation is very much a thing,
Hmm.
unfortunately. Like you have a whole thing which people now call iPads children or the iPads generation.
It's true, and that's where it's like, um, I've limited my kiddo on that stuff,
Hmm.
and he goes out and, he's around social interactions, and these kids are talking about video games all the time, and he's like, he just looks at it like, I don't understand. So
But like, aren't you afraid that he's going to feel left out because of that, or
he
that
doesn't,
he's
no,
gonna become shunned
no,
because of it? Like, oh, you don't know that video game? Well, then you're not one of us.
but
I mean,
that's where it's like, I just want him to be who he is, and that's where, you know, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. He doesn't feel that way. It's people putting that projection on him, and it's not the truth.
do you think social media, and especially platforms like TikTok, for example, play a role in all of this? Play a role with pushing out these opinions? Because like, out of all social platforms, we know, because we use it ourselves, that TikTok has the most sensitive algorithm.
It
Do you think it
does. It's like it does.
so do you think it plays a role in all of this? Do you think it's because of like the iPad generation or the iPad kids or whatever? Like, is it social media that is truly raising them? Because like all of these debates that you would find on Twitter or excuse me, on uh, what is it, TikTok or whatever, I rarely, if ever, really have those kind of debates in real life. So is that just a thing of
It's
social
for
media?
views. It's for views. There's nothing real about it. It's only for views.
But they're getting thousands, if not millions, of views. That has to have some sort of an impact.
I don't pay attention.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, well, your attitude towards it is a lot healthier than most. Um, so with Witchy Whispers, like, we know what. Honey, you're making hella ruckus. I don't know what you're doing, but
Sorry.
um, with Witchy Whispers, like, we know now what the goal is, and you've been talking about like writing and all. What platform does Witchy Whispers have? Like, where
I'm
is
it's on
Witchy Whispers?
Substack, but I'm actually looking at other options. I've heard bad things about Substack. I don't want to get into it here, but I'm just honestly trying to just put it out there and have my voice be heard.
Hmm.
But you guys could find it on Substack for right now. I'm looking at other ones to post it on as well. I also have my own merch store. Fox is wearing one of them right now.
Yes, I am. It
And
really
that
has
is
become my
actually,
favorite shirt. So
well, that's actually a limited time edition. I'm actually going to redesign it here soon and kind of give it more of a feel to me. So that's a limited time edition. So people can order that one for a limited time before I decide to revamp it a little bit.
get yours now, because it won't last. I'm just gonna share my screen real quick to
Okay.
show everybody where they can get it. But keep talking. So yeah.
So that design right here actually
Hmm.
came to me as I was, thinking about it. but with the Book of Shadows, it feels heavy, so I'm thinking I'm just gonna revamp it a little bit.
And I'm actually wearing the long sleeve version of it, the hemp colors. And I gotta say, it is incredibly comfortable. It's really comfortable. And now, since it will change limited edition as well, so I'm gonna keep this because it's like in 5 years, this shirt's gonna be hella money.
But the thing is, I kind of wanted to do, a design for everybody, but like I'm looking at it now and it's like I just want to kind of, revamp it a little bit. So if anyone has ideas of what they would like to see on the new design, except for G Whispers, of course, they
Hmm.
can give me ideas. I do have some ideas that I'm playing around with Brenda. I just need to
And
find a person
Substack,
who's going to help customize it.
you really need to write again on Substack, honey. Last one's
I,
December
well,
7th.
I know it was a hard time last month.
Yeah, it was. And Witchy Whispers can, of course, be found on the Fox and Fae Substack. It is a separate article, but part of the greater whole. And speaking of being part of the greater whole, is Witchy Whispers in any way affiliated with the Greyhorn Pagans, other than you just being the Fru and married to the Jarl? Or is it really
Like
your
actually, it
own?
is.
Or is it
No, it's
really your
part
own
of it.
thing?
It's
Oh, it
part
is.
of it.
Oh, that's
It
good
is,
news.
yeah.
That's good news.
No, I'm totally just gonna keep it separate and leave you out of it. Shh, shh.
You would though. Um,
Yay, I got that messed up. So like the thing is, like I wanted to kind of just do a place where I can do different things. Like the book that I found, if you want to pull it up on as like a screen share, is Magical Backyard or
oh,
Backyard Magic, Backyard Garden Magic.
oh, honey, like you have shared so
I
much
haven't shared
with
the
me.
book with you, but you can go onto Amazon or like a
No, you did share
image
it.
search.
You did share it with me, did you?
Yeah, but you can find a better image of just the book by itself without my lovely bed background.
What was the name?
Backyard Garden Witchery, creating magical space outside your door.
Okay, let me see if I can pull it up because the only backyard stuff that I know is backyard wrestling, but that's something else entirely.
We're not getting into that there. That's a you and a
No,
raven thing.
backyards, garden, witchery. There we go. So is that like a particular feminine kind of book, or is this just?
No, I was at the library with Slug Dude and I noticed that it has different things that you can do in it. And it's about gardening, and it's like I actually want to start getting into it. And it just has a lot of awesome ideas in it. It talks about how you can get in touch with the Fae from what the author has talked about. It talks about, recipes. It talks about, different things and what you can do in your backyard. And sorry, my familiar is wanting attention.
Oh yeah, mine has been here the whole time. But
She
it's
keeps
it's
crawling in my lap.
my well yeah I mean our kids, but our youngest and our daughter, they love gardening, and
I miss it.
I feel like that's such a healthy thing to do with your
Well, and
kids
that's where it's
because
like it has exercises in here that you could do with your kids. Like one of the ones that I was reading last night, it was talking about how you could meet the trees in your property and like the different properties that the trees have and like what you can do to include, your own garden, like putting a fire pit in or, a gazing ball or even a labyrinth. and like including different sacred symbols and stuff like that, and how you can talk to the land and what plants that are adaptable to your location and how to, you know, be able to have that um, open space with, the spirits and the creatures that inhabit there and how to bring them back. Because, like, there for a while, my property was teeming with those kind of things. But because of stupid construction, I have to go back out there and reinvite them back to see if they want to come back. So it's just, and that's the thing too, where it's like, I'm glad that I'm getting back into finding different things, and I
Mhm.
just, I want to start including different things. And that's where it's like, that's why I wanted to form Witchy Whispers, is because I wanted to kind of go through, the different seasons and what you could do during the different seasons. And that's why I'm glad I found this book, because it's actually a really good book, contrary to what Amazon shows, but it's actually a really good one.
Oh, it has a 4.9 out of 5, so it's not that bad. Like, it has good reviews.
And I
Um,
think it's relatively new too, from what I keep reading too.
July 8th of 2022. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so it's relatively new.
and part of a series actually, because she also does kitchen witchery and wellness witchery.
And that's the thing too, where it's like, I wanted to get back in touch with that stuff, and I wanted to, be close to my grandmother again, because that's something I did growing up, is, to gardening with her. She used to always tease me and say, hey, you have a black thumb, whereas she had the green thumb of the family. And so I just wanted to, be close to my grandmother again, because I do miss the gardening aspect of my childhood. I could tell
Well,
you this time of the year we would be outside pulling up weeds.
oh, I bet. But like, isn't gardening like you're taking care of something? You're taking care. You're
Mhm.
nurturing. Like, I would kind of associate that with the feminine. Also, if we look at the North Germanic pantheon, for example, a lot of the nature gods, if you will, most of the Vanir are goddesses.
Mhm.
Um, you know, it's always Mother Earth. It's Gaia. So the Earth in itself is, in a lot of cultures, in a lot of spiritual societies, is considered feminine. So I would say to take care of her, to like pull out the weeds. Really, that's pulling out.
That's basically why I wanted to get back into reading about, paganism and all of that stuff again. I wanted to really get back in touch with it because, you know, we're all missing that piece in our lives. And, the fact that I want to have, excuse me, have my own garden again, and to have, as our Pinterest board says, our own little gothic garden of black plants and shrubbery and, all that stuff. But at the same time, I want a place where, the Fae can come and be, and to be able to be part of that. And that's where it's like, you know, I've been out of touch with a lot of things lately, and that's where it's like I just want to get back in touch with the Fae again. If I'm completely honest, I haven't really had much with it since last year, and the day, because of Substack I wrote.
Yeah.
So it's been hard. So I just wanted to get back into it, and that's where it's like I wanted to bring that feminine energy back and to find my own natural haven. And that's where, reading these books has helped.
to really do some inner healing.
hmm And that's what this book is really, it's really good because it tells you what you can do to make your own perfect place for meditation, spell work, healing, divination. And that's where it's like, I just wanted something where I could just do it again. And maybe I'll take some ideas that this book has given me and, of course, talk about the author and all that stuff. And I found out some interesting things that I didn't even know in here. Like, for example, you could use stinging nettle as a tea. I never knew you could have stinging nettle tea
Yeah,
because I always
definitely.
thought they were poisonous.
No, no, you can have them as a tea. You can have them as a soup, even, I believe.
I never knew that. So it's like, I'm finding out things I never knew. And that's where it's like,
But
I want to be able to surprise people with that as well.
they're a they're an herb. They're a
hmm
very common herb. I mean, they grow incredibly fast. Like it's in my back garden and close to the water at where I live. Like just so much stinging nettles, fire nettles, and I know that my grandmother always used to pull them out and um, oh,
Sorry, another creature wants to make herself known.
is that the girl?
Yeah, it's the floof.
Mm.
But that's like, where it's like I wanted to just be in touch with myself again, and I've found that, there's a lot of things that I didn't even know were plants. Sorry, I keep yawning. I apologize. So it's like there's just a lot of things that I'm learning and I'm loving learning about and the different kinds of properties with the trees and how to work with it and to just do stuff like that. I just want to get back into my spell work again. That's the one thing that I miss.
So yeah, I mean, I know you've been struggling lately, and I do know why. Indeed, we'll not go into it on the show. We'll not go into it on the podcast. But yeah, I understand why, and some self care. I mean, everybody can use some self care, right?
hmm And that's where it's like, I just want to have a space, and that's where it's like I'm reading about this, and I'm hoping I could find some peace.
Stop yawning.
It's not my fault. My familiar's sitting on my lap and purring, and it's putting me to sleep. It's not my fault.
Mm. So I guess we should just wrap it up for now.
No, she
Since
wants to. No, she wants to be part of the show. She's sitting with me. She wants to be part of it.
of course
But
she does.
that's where it's just like I just want to be able to just get in touch with myself again, and that's where it's like with Chloe, love that girl to death. She is
Mm.
the sweetest girl I've ever met, and she's just. I just wanted to be able to do something where she could go and just read something and just feel at peace, and
Yeah,
if she felt like she needed to do some witchy stuff, she could.
because Chloe has also really been getting into it. Like she's doing a lot of a lot of tarot reading lately,
Mhm.
especially on her platform, and it's interesting to see how, like,
How
how,
she's growing into herself.
yeah, and like how the to kind of like bring it back to what we're doing as a whole tribe, how the pagan revival also goes for witchcraft. Like
Hmm.
it's being accepted um more and more. It's being um people don't see it as something bad anymore. It's
I
there's
mean,
there's a
there's some
greater
people that do.
understanding. Yeah, I mean there will always be people who will disagree, but it's it's
But
interesting to
that's
see
why I wanted to
how
do it.
the world is healing, how society is healing.
But that's why I wanted to do it is that I just wanted to be able to, include everybody and to be able to be back in touch with, sorry, she keeps purring onto my lap, to show that, it's okay to be who you are.
The right kind
So,
of acceptance.
because you know how it was hard for me, even in the beginning of our relationship, to be able to accept my.
You cut out there for a moment, but yeah, I do. Um you have had a hard time like understanding yourself and accepting yourself, and
Mhm,
um like finding out who you truly are and what you truly want.
mhm. And that's where it's like Witchy Whispers was born because I wanted to give my inner child that voice that she didn't have to be able to accept herself as a witch. Don't get that confusing with Wicca because I'm definitely not into the New Age stuff. I'm definitely into the old school stuff. So that's where a lot of people sit there and say, oh, you're claiming yourself a witch, so then you must be Wiccan. And it's like, yeah, no, definitely not.
But Wiccans are welcome at Witchy Whispers, or is there a
Yes,
big
everyone is.
or is there
Mm-mm.
a big sign on the door saying Wiccans keep out?
No, everyone's welcome, just as long as people understand I am not Wiccan.
Not that there's anything wrong with
Mm,
that. I mean, like this came to mind. You could say that what um, the Greyhorn Pagans really was for me, because like for me, that was like it was a place where I could be myself, where I could hopefully learn the lessons
well,
that I needed to learn. That has the like you could say that Witchy Whispers has become that for you, or
no, it's like, it's just with the Greyhorns. Don't get me wrong, I love that group, I love our tribe,
mm,
but it was more of like it was a branch that I wasn't able to delve into when we were part of those groups where we first began.
yeah.
They wouldn't let me be
I mean,
that witchy person I was.
I know we tried the whole um what was it again, like Ladies of the Grey Pagans thing before.
And it fell through hard.
Unfortunately, it had the best intentions, but it just like maybe it wasn't the right.
The right time.
Yeah,
And that's where it's like, people started showing their true colors, and that's where it's like, I'm more confident in myself now. I have a wonderful friendship with the Thane's wife, Sarah. I have a wonderful
Mm,
relationship with Horrifying History with Brenda. She's one of my really, really close friends. And I love
Brenda's
her.
Brenda's
I
great.
love her. I
Yeah.
love her to death. She's definitely that celestial twin that I never knew that I needed until her and I just, we became close. It was like almost instantaneous. And the same
Hmm.
thing with Chloe. It was like, you know, she was that shy little girl, and I kind of took her under my wing, and now look at her. She's about ready to fly the nest.
First one to fly, and definitely more to follow. Like, and is that?
She's definitely making me feel old by turning 21 this year.
Oh gosh, yeah. But like, is that also kind of um like, will that kind of be your role in the Witchy Whispers, if you will? Like, you're the matron.
I feel like I've always been that kind of feeling because, like, no matter where I go, it could be at work, it could be anywhere where everyone thinks I'm that motherly type. And if I'm being honest, I've always been called the work mom. So it
Yeah.
wouldn't surprise me if this happens where, you're the dad of the Greyhorn Pagans and I become the mom of Witchy Whispers.
Well, I don't consider myself the dad of the Greyhorn Pagans. I mean, there are a few fathers in there, but
I mean, I am called mom in there, so it's interesting.
yeah, Josh, like he still calls you ma or mom,
And that
indeed.
doesn't doesn't bother me, and that just goes to show, that's where it's like, maybe you and I were meant to fall in order to find these people that were meant to bring us back up. And that's where I found really close friends, and I wasn't expecting to, you know, be able to find those. And Brenda and I are just very close outside of podcasting. We've become really close.
Yeah,
And it's the same way with
you have.
Chloe, and that's where I made a statement on Twitter a few days ago saying I was departing the paranormal group that, I loved so much because it was a hard decision. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, I will always love the paranormal community for what they've given me, that they've always been there for me. But this is something I needed to do for myself.
Yeah. Sometimes healing means cutting strings, cutting ties. It's which is the hardest thing that you'll ever do.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean,
But
I
that's
know
where it's,
that like like just in the tribe, we have been through our fair share of difficulties, but we have persisted, we have grown, we have you know really
and the thing
become
is,
a safe space for a lot of people.
and that's where it's like, I will always love and respect everyone that I've come in contact with. I'm never gonna hate them for what they've done. I'm never gonna bag on anybody for the things that they've said or done, behind my back because the thing is that's their truth on how they feel about me, and if they want to feel that way, then that's their opinion.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, I know myself and I know my truth and I know who I am as a person, and I don't need those opinions.
No, exactly, and that's strength in its own way. That's being strong without like necessarily having to fight. Self acceptance is so incredibly important.
hmm And that's where Witchy Whispers was born, and again, it's a place where, people just want to, be in touch with the feminine side. I know there's going to be ew, gross, ick conversations in there, but at the same time,
I mean, those are always gonna be in there.
well, yeah, because I am a female, so
Hmm.
it's gonna happen where I'm gonna be talking about gross stuff, and that's just part of being a female. I
Yeah.
mean, if people can look at the you gross ick factor, then
I
it's
mean,
gonna show there's a lot more to it.
it will probably take uh some convincing,
I mean, how
but
long has it been and you still cringe sometimes whenever I talk about that side?
yeah, yeah, there are things that you tell me that I'm like, you know what, honey, I could have gone without this knowledge and be perfectly fine.
And that's the thing too, where it's like, we always share everything anyway, so it's like, why not share that? And that's where it's like, that's what ladies of the Greyhorn Pagans were supposed to be. We're a place where we could talk about those things. But, and thinking back on it
It's
now, it happened way too soon. And
yeah.
members then swore that they never even had that idea and that they never wanted to be a part of it. And, I
No, that
lost a really
was
good friend along the way.
yeah, which is a damn shame. I mean, but
Mhm.
it's just a thing that we're gonna have to learn from. And
But, I mean, what kind of designs do people want to see? I mean, do any of our listeners have ideas for the merch? I mean, I'm all open to ideas. I do want to definitely keep the Witchy Whispers on.
yeah, I mean, if anyone is watching, for the people who will be watching this afterwards as well, for those who will be listening on all the podcasting platforms, leave us a comment. Leave us a comment on the video. Leave us a comment on the episodes. Send us a email through our website www.greyhornpagans.com. If you have any ideas, like, all ideas are welcome, of course. Like, there are no bad ideas. I mean,
I mean, I could do
that's
seasonal stuff where it could be like, seasonal things where it could be like in some of the comments, people are sending clovers. I could do clovers. I could do things pertaining to Ostara. I could do things pertaining to Samhain. I mean, I'm open to ideas.
I mean, like, yeah, let's start with the seasonal things, like make those special editions available for, I don't know, like, only, like, quite literally available only for the season, for as long as the season lasts. I think that would be a very good place to start. And the um
And if
the
any of our listeners are actually graphic designers, please hit up Fox because I have some ideas that I would like to run by you.
I personally don't know any, but if it so happens to be, send us a message. You can do that through our website, www.greyhornpagans.com. That would be the easiest. Link is in the description box down below, as always, of course. So if you have any ideas, or if you can help with designing, a professional look on it, someone who actually knows what they're doing, is always welcome. Of course, I mean, I have become better at the graphical stuff, because of course, like, all the thumbnails and everything for the podcast, um I make myself. I design myself. Um, but I'm getting a little tired of always having to be the one that helps FireFae with coming up with designs. Like,
Oh, you love it. Don't even start. You love it.
I do, but it's just sometimes I wish I could just outsource it to someone else, because, like, I don't always have ideas either, but then I get the constant Like, do you want to help me? Can you help me? And I mean, honey, don't get me wrong, I love you, but please, if anyone knows, if anyone has some great ideas, or if anyone can help, hit us up. All ideas are welcome. There are no bad ideas when it comes to graphical design. At least, I mean, of course, there are bad ideas, but
except for taboo topics, and I don't want any of those
as long as it's as
outstretched.
long as it falls in line with what the Greyhorn Pagans are about and what Witchy Whispers is about, everything is welcome, of course. And you're welcome to join. You're welcome to join Witchy Whispers. You're welcome to join the Greyhorn Pagans. Or one or the other. It's or both or neither, and just be an outsider. That's fine as well. Acceptance. That's also kind of what this podcast is about. Acceptance.
Definitely. That's where, you know, even hit us up with ideas that you would like to see on the blog and hit me up with ideas of merch. And I want to start getting into, designing stickers and all that kind of stuff too, so we can offer more.
So yeah, I think we have said the most important things. Or is there anything else that you wish to share?
Not that I can think of. I just appreciate everyone listening and continuing to support, our vision and what we stand for.
And quite the vision it is. The pagan revival. Um, it's been a tribal thing pretty much all along, but like we're taking it more and more seriously and want to do more and more with it. So, if that is all, my love, then I would say thank you for explaining to all of us what Witchy Whispers is, what Witchy Whispers is about, and for everyone listening, for everyone watching, um, where can they find Witchy Whispers?
Substack, and you can also find it on Tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans. I'm going to be promoting it there and my ex, and if anything, I'll have Fox include my link tree so you can find everything. But I
Wait,
just wanted to say, hmm,
your ex is going to promote it too?
totally, he'll totally promote it.
Oh,
But I just
you
wanted,
mean Twitter? Because
yes,
I still refuse to say X.
but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, for continuing to support me and being there and understanding why I don't show my face. So thank you for everything that everyone does.
Keeps the mystique alive, and hey, somebody has to be the face of the Greyhorn Pagans, so why not this face?
Yeah, no one
Uh,
wants to see my ugly mug.
oh, that's not true. I look at it every day, and I still wake up in the morning alive, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's true. But thank you for everybody for continuing to support us and being there for us. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, we definitely do. There wouldn't be a Greyhorn Pagans. There wouldn't be a tribe if it wasn't for all the supports. I know it's been said a lot. It's been said by everyone who has something of a platform, but this truly wouldn't be possible without you guys. What do you mean, you people? Uh, like podcasting, it's fun to do, yeah, but if nobody's watching, if nobody's listening, and I'm just filling up the ether, or with the designs and all of that, if nobody looks at it, if nobody buys it, if nobody is interested, in it, then why go through all that effort? And the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans, if there wasn't an interest for it, if there weren't people who who are looking to connect or reconnect with their ancestry, their gods, their magic, their magical practice, um, you know, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. I wouldn't be a published author of The Pagan Revival by now on Amazon.
Oh
Um,
dear, I'm married to an author now. Oh no. What's next? Are you gonna go into wrestling again?
I wouldn't mind.
Or are you too broken? Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's me.
Welcome to Fox and Faye, everyone. This is how we are on a regular basis. This is daily life. No, honestly, I would much rather put my focus on my new job and the Greyhorn Pagans and the pagan revival, and help you with
Well,
Witchy Whispers, of course.
and you hate admitting it, but to be a part of Witchy Whispers.
I mean, if I'm married to the matron of Witchy Whispers, I'm gonna be involved in it anyway.
Please don't say
Um,
matron because you're making me feel like I'm old and decrepit.
no, you're not. You're not. You're just old, not decrepit.
Says you.
Who just turned 32. But yeah, anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to leave something nice in the comments, like the video, give us that sweet 5-star rating on the podcasting platforms. That way, the algorithms, actually, because we're on multiple platforms, will like us too and push the podcast out further and help us kick more ass with the pagan revival and the witchy whispers, of course. Share it with, well, everyone. Like, don't be shy. Just share it in the work app group, in the work text group. Share it with your family. Share it with your nephews, your nieces. I don't care how old they are. It's never too early for a pagan revival. You're never too young for the pagan revival or witchy whispers. I mean, like,
Oh, and here's a shout out to my in-laws for being amazing and supporting us as well.
so thank you, mom and dad. Um, yeah, join us for the pagan revival. Join us on the Greyhorn Pagans. Join us for witchy whispers, all of which can be found on our website www.greyhornpagans.com. This has been show 2 of the night. I am finally going to get dinner because I have to be up early. So, yeah, thank you all, and to all a good night. Bye bye.